We're back with our 5-threat tier list, guys. We know everybody in the world, without exception, loves these, so let's jump straight into it. Hey guys, Rich from Richmond Gaming, and yes, we are back. We are on that tier list train. We are not getting off until we have finished. Today we're going to go through the 5 threats, and helping me, as always, is Mr. Quinn Duggan. Quinn, how the hell are you doing, sir?
Meh.
Cool. I've asked you for the other ones, Quinn, and I think obviously as we go higher in threat, we expect more and more from these characters, don't we? But 5 threats. Not every, we're getting into the realms now where not every affiliation has a 5 threat, I don't think. In fact, no, that's definitely true. So they're a little bit, scarcer, aren't they, than the 3s and 4s. But I think we expect more from them. So what are you looking at from your 5 threat characters? I suppose, first of all, in affiliation and then out of affiliation.
So I think it's kind of the same either way, whether they're in affiliation or not, because what I tend to find is that either side of 4 threat is where you want your splash characters to be, if that makes sense. You either want your 3s and your 2s, because 2s aren't available to every affiliation. 3s are quite easy to slot in, and then 5s potentially bring in that larger, more powerhouse type character that you might not have availability of, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like if you have an in affiliation 5, that's not necessarily worth as much as an in affiliation 3 or 4, if that makes sense.
It is weird, isn't it? And I think you're right. It does feel like 3 and 5 tend to be splashed more than 4. Like, I tend to stick with in affiliation 4 threats. I don't know if that's because of tactics cards and you want them to be able to benefit from them. Whereas with 5, for me, they often bring enough of their own things, and they tend to have they can have tactics cards stapled to them as well.
I think
which are
also, correct
useful.
me if I'm wrong, but the majority of leaders in the game are 4 threat, correct?
I would need to look at it, but I would say that on average they probably are. But I don't know if it's. I don't know if
I
it's.
think that might also be like a contributing factor to the reason you don't see as many splash falls, is
Yeah,
because in a number of affiliations, that 4 threat slot is already filled by your leader.
yeah. It's a fair point to make. I think. Yeah, we don't have too many leaders that are 5, but then we don't really have too many 5 threat characters, do we? And actually, looking through them, there is actually quite a lot of these that are leaders. Yeah, I suppose for me, similar to what I want with my 4 threats, you want them to be a presence on the board, don't you? You want them to be contributing both in and out of their own activations. You want them to be able to do things. You're generally not looking at a generalist, I don't think, as a 5 threat, like you may be with a 3 or maybe even a 4. You kind of want them to have a plan, maybe plan A and plan B, but they're going to do it 99% of the times, aren't they? You want them to be very consistent with what they do.
Yeah.
And we'll see some on this list are not necessarily that consistent. So, Quinn, I wanted to just, for everyone, just reiterate the tier rankings and why, what we're going to be putting into each one. We have made a slight change to this, and we'll go through and show exactly what they are. So let's jump over to the tier list. So first we've got S, A, B, C, D. Everyone knows that. Everyone loves it apart from that one guy. Basically, what we're saying with S tier is not only are they going to be in their given affiliations, so they're going to be in the roster all the time, not only are they going to be picked in the squad, they're a first choice squad member, but also they're very often seen splashed outside of affiliation as well. And that's going to be one of the big key contributing factors to a character getting into S tier. So there may be some of these that are really, really good in affiliation, but can only ever get to that B plus A tier because we just don't see them splashed anywhere else. A tier is really going to be for those first choice roster members, or they get splashed as well, so it can be a mix of both. B tier is where the vast majority of characters should be. I had somebody go, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't put." I don't know who it was. XYZ is way better than a B. He's a solid character. I'm like, so he's exactly where he should be. B is for apps.
Oh no, I think I know exactly what you're talking about, and it was because we put Beast in C.
Yeah, exactly, right? And Beast doesn't make it into your roster every single game. Therefore, he can't be in, he can't be a B tier. So yeah, B, and then C is like your Beasts, for example, right? And I think we had a couple of examples, Quinn, didn't we? Like Hela and Omega Red. It's like there's nothing wrong with them. They're not bad characters, but more often than not, they're overshadowed a little bit. There are other characters that are better than them in affiliation. They don't get played outside of affiliation much. And then D tier really is, look, you could consider them if you want, but they're suboptimal at the moment and arguably may need a little tweak to bring them back up to within that bell curve. What we're also going to do, because it's been asked for, is introduce a system whereby the closer to the B you are, so I'm just going to put some examples in here. Black Bolt's not ending up there, by the way. But we've got Amazing Spider-Man, Angela, and Black Bolt all in B. Now, if we're saying actually they're all B, but Angela is a B+, she's better than Amazing Spider-Man, she will go closer to the B. So the closer to the B that they are, the higher up the rankings they are.
I do want to clarify. We mean the closer to the letter category they're in, not just closer they are to B in general.
Yeah, absolutely that. Yeah. Not, Black Bolt doesn't win because he's a B. But let's start off then, Quinn. Let's start with Amazing Spider-Man. We saw his counterpart, his other leader, Mr. Miles Morales, over in the Three Threats, who I think was at least A, maybe S tier. I can't remember now. He's got some things going for him. That long base medium move is
long base medium move.
That long base medium move, yeah. That medium base long move even.
We go.
Is very, very nice. But this is going to be the but. Whilst he is okay, I think, as a secondary leader, 90% of the time you're going to take Miles over him, and we don't really see him out of affiliation very much whatsoever. I think he's solo affiliated to Web Warriors, isn't he? He's a solid enough character. Defenders. Oh, is he? Of course, he's Defenders as well. Yeah. But then he's contesting with Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider and Hulk and whoever else. So, look, for me, Quinn, he is the epitome of a C tier character. You can call upon him when needed. He might make it into your roster of 10, but you're going to bring him out for some niche situations that you may need. He's never going to, you're not going to build your squad around him. I don't know your thoughts. One
individual who has done that, but
Who's that?
Ronald.
Well, that's just Ron. Ron just... Everything we see on here not to do, Ron then does
everyone. Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, he's he is the epitome of that C tier character, really.
Oh, I don't know. I think... So I think there are some extraneous, sort of factors that make him seem like a C, if that makes sense. I think based on his card alone, he's a solid B, maybe B+ character, right?
Okay.
He's got a lot of good stuff going for him. It's just those outside influences, mainly the fact that, he's in Web Warriors, but Miles is just the end-all, be-all of Web Warriors leaders at the moment.
Yeah.
I think that does shove him down a bit. I'm not sure whether that shoves him down into C. I think I'd rather argue for a B-, personally.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. No issues whatsoever. Right, next up, Quinn, is, and I think we both have the same problem here with this one. I played a lot of Guardians, and I had her in my roster. I played a lot of Asgard and had her in my roster. I've come up against her many times, and she will decimate the big characters that I bring. However, my Angela cannot roll dice for shit. But I'm going to try and not let I'm going to try and not let my
It's
own...
really difficult to like not let that factor out as well, right?
It really, really is. Look, Angela is, she's also got that long base and medium move, Quinn. No, she's also got that long move and
Classic
medium
combo.
base. She is triple affiliated, Air Force, Asgard, and Guardians. She's not a bad target for drop off in Air Force, but I think at 5 threat,
Special delivery, but sure.
Sorry, special delivery even. But I think she's a little bit expensive. We definitely see her played a lot in Asgard. I know people play her in Guardians and have a lot of success with her. She can murder things very, very well. Very, very well indeed.
She especially those lower threat characters where she just sort of cleans up against a wide list. Like I've seen it happen time and time again. And like equally, I've never really achieved it myself, but that's because of my own shortcomings in terms of rolling dice for her.
Yeah, she's also, when she's in Asgard as well, she's got access to the Rainbow Bridge. She's got access to Doom Prophecy. She's got access to Odin's Blessing, which can, really, really help in a clutch situation if somebody somehow manages to get a huge amount of damage through to her, because that defensive tech where she stops rerolls and then falls across the board is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, also, I think there's just something to say for the fact she's got Asgardian, which means, you can interact with an extract and, like, potentially interact with a secure if you're a flip. Like, so, both of them on turn ones, pretty good.
Does she do enough to get herself out of B and into that A tier? Is my thought. And I am putting my own personal grievances, I'm going to call them, against Angela to one side. Do you think she does enough?
The I'm having now is that I feel like my judgment is being clouded in the other direction.
Well,
I feel like
everybody else has
being too forgiving of her in order to balance my utter hatred for her due to how badly she rolls for me. And like, I feel like I'm not being particularly impartial here either way.
Well, I think she does enough. She's got one job, and she does it very well. Which is to murder things.
She has at least 2 jobs. One of them is be fast, one of them is kill good.
Yeah, which are 2 pretty good things to have in this game, to say the least. So I think she does enough, Quinn. She might end up being knocked down the pecking order a little bit.
I think she's going to end up as one of the lower A's, but she is an A. Yeah. Oh, I've completely forgot.
Oh, right. Can we have a B, please?
Okay, for B Spider-Man. For blue pants.
Blue pants, excellent. Do not say Angela.
Okay, A for Angelic Assassin, fuck you.
There we go, excellent. And D for what on Black Bolt? Sorry, no, Black Bolt next. Look, we spoke about Black Bolt in particular in Humans.
No. Use his full name, please.
Blackagar Boltagon. There we go.
Thank you very much.
The second most ridiculous name in this game.
No, it's the most. Forget Benjamin Poindexter.
Benjamin Poindexter is. So yeah, Black Bolt, leader of the Inhumans. Look, I mean, first of all, Quinn, he's got a very nice leadership, right?
His leadership is absolutely
the core of
brilliant.
what he's got is good. My biggest problem with Black Bolt is his, not necessarily his total stamina, although I do have a slight issue with it, is his stamina distribution, right? Yeah. 5 threat character with 5 stamina on the front. And you can argue the fact that, look, he goes up to 9 on his flip side, right? And he gets the Whisper, which is, can be a very, very good attack if you manage to get it off. But he's a 5 threat character. And no matter how many unhealthy characters or injured characters you have, well, if you're trying to secure a point, one healthy character beats you for that. So his ability to score points diminishes greatly. He really needs some help to be better as a character, because he's got good characters in the Inhumans, as we saw from the 4 threat and the 3 threat. He's not unplayable. He's definitely not unplayable, but I think he is in desperate need of a tweak. I think and we've not said this before, I think he makes it into the D+ tier, if I'm being brutally honest. Like,
I'm tempted by a C-. The
reason I say D+ is he needs some help.
Yeah, he's not a D by merit of just what he is as a character, right? He's a D because there are some like design issues with him.
Yeah, do you know
Like
what?
I think they actually did the reverse of what they should have with him. So you know how he's like stacked to be like low health then high health, right?
Yeah.
I think they should have done the reverse.
Yeah, I think they should have had it. He
Like,
should have been more
because
like a
it
Murdoch.
should take a lot for him to get to the point where he's willing to do that whisper, right?
Yeah.
So I think you do him like as a 9 and then like a 5 or even a 4, and you
I'd
just
say,
make whisper one
I
of the
wouldn't mind
most
seeing.
obnoxious attacks in the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him 10-4, very similar to Murdoch, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they tried to do, right? They tried to have the flip of Murdoch. Look, you are right. He is C tier. He's not as bad as a D, but even though he's
No.
going in C, Quinn, he still definitely needs some help. Right, Black Swan next. But this time.
But that picture is clearly Black John and Super John.
I know, I realised afterwards, Quinn. I do need a C for Black Bolt, though.
Oh, C for Commander of the Inhuman Armies.
Dear Lord. Look, we put Black Swan without a gem down in C tier, I think, Quinn. And this time she's coming with the power gem.
Are you saying she's got the power?
She's got the power, yeah. It is, I'm going to say, almost essential to take her with the power gem because she
100%.
needs that extra power to turn that turn 1 charge on and everything else that she does. So she goes from a C, in my mind, Quinn, up to an A tier.
Yeah, I think she's a better A than Angela.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I will agree with that. So she bumps ahead of Angela. Being able to turn, as I mentioned, being able to turn that charge on round 1, but actually being able to turn on the charge with an I-beam round 1.
With an I-beam or with it's not Midnight Field, it's the other one, isn't it? Telepathic suggestion.
Telepathic suppression, yeah, is just really good, really good. So, yeah, I really like her, and I think you do see her. You see her splashed a little, not a huge amount.
Yeah, I think like you saw her more around the time of her release, and like things have cooled off a bit for her now. But I think she's still like as good as she was.
Yeah, which is typical. Oh,
and
dear.
obviously,
A is for
A for Alien.
Alien. Yes. Wow. I mean, you could just put like almost nearly every character. Oh, Quinn. Quinn. Do you know what I hate about this next character?
That you like him.
About a year ago, I came up with an amazing idea to make him really good.
Oh, here we go. Oh, my ideas are so good. Look at me. My
AMG stole that idea and gave it to the fucking Sentinels. Cable, aka Nathan Summers. Look, he's just bad, Quinn. He's just bad, right? His leadership may be the worst in the game. Maybe.
Well, oh wait, no. I'm going to be quiet about the thing I was going to say, just because it's good for the alphabet.
Okay. I mean, one dice once per turn is not good at all. Not when you look at what other people have, right? That's the big thing. Again, he's got an affiliation with some good characters in, but
like I think it would have been forgivable had the tactics cards actually been of any worth.
Yeah, I mean they've got one tactics card, right? Is it
Cat and Mouse?
Cat and Mouse, where you get to do a
where you get the range 2 place, but
right.
you can only move once. Yeah, they've got that. If they'd had Dirty Work be an actual VP game, I think it would have been perfectly excusable to make that reroll once per turn.
Yeah, because then you don't want. Yeah, exactly that. It's just look. That Akane Sun is cost far too much power. We spoke before, can help me out.
It's an area attack. Obviously, it's got the area attack. Like,
yeah, well, no, but they perfected the aerial attack with Shadowlands Daredevil, and I really want to go see them retrofit the other ones that have got that. Look, Omega level threat is nice, right? Being able to pay the amount of power that of the size that you throw is nice. We've seen it so many times where you're spending 4 power, but you're only throwing a size 2 because that's all there is available. So I do like that. Telekinetic shield is nice as well, But he has the builder of Rocket, right? Okay, Incinerate on a Wild, but it doesn't matter. He's got the builder of Rocket, and he's a 5-threat character. He needs more. He does need more.
Like there are so many things about Cable that could have been, could have been just right, but they just fall a little bit short. And I think it's all of those individual shortcomings that sort of amalgamate together to put him into, I'm going to say it, D tier.
Yeah, and do you know what, Quinn? He's the character that I probably spent the most time painting in this game because I absolutely love the whole X-Force thing, right? It makes me so sad. So sad.
Don't worry, one day we'll get Psylocke.
I know. And D is for...
Drop off.
Drop off. Yes, the arsehole that broke it. And I still don't understand how.
No, there is no reason whatsoever as to why Cable broke drop off.
Yeah, it's like...
There isn't one, all right? AMG, there isn't. Just stop.
Yeah, weird. Right, Cassandra Nova, Quinn, a.k.a. Cassandra Nova Xavier. For those that don't know, it is Charles's sister. Not the member of the Xavier family, I think, that people wanted in the game first, Quinn, but it's the one that they got.
Well, you're picking between one of the most iconic characters in sort of X-Men comics or the weird sewer feast lady.
Yeah, exactly that. Look, I've always had a lot of love for... let's call it how it is. Oh, sorry, we did do a D for drop off, didn't we? Yeah, for Tanker Cassandra Nova. She's got some amazing tech, Quinn.
I really warmed up to her recently.
Yeah, she's now in Sentinels. It's yet to be seen whether that's a home for her, because I think that's one of the things Cassandra Nova struggled with. Is she's always been? I mean, she's only ever been in Cabal, right? And early days. Look who she was up against, MODOK, right? The OG 5-threat powerhouse. And, everywhere you look, there's somebody in her way. Maybe in the Sentinels, that's the new place for her. Especially because any of the damage that people are going to be able to get into her from like throws and things, she can just stop using that. Is it telekinetic deflection? I think it is. For only 2 power. I think she's a solid character, Queen, and I think I'm going to make the prediction that Sentinels is going to be somewhere that you see her played quite a bit to give some variety, because I think running 3 Sentinels game in, game out, if nothing else, is going to get boring as hell for people.
Yeah.
And I also think it gives you a really good 14 threat in Sentinels, where you run Prime, 1 Sentinel, and Cassandra Nova at 14 threat.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty
interesting
solid.
Because, like, with bringing alongside Cassandra Nova, Sentinels end up becoming quite a control-heavy affiliation.
Oh, hugely, yeah, hugely. And we haven't seen all the cards yet, but there may be some cards in there that she's going to benefit from as well, Quinn. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. She does have she brings a lot of control. She suffers with a lack of physical defense, but typically, that means that people use throws against them, because she does have that psychic distraction, doesn't she? Where it's a bit like tricks and traps, isn't it? Somebody lands, she rolls 4 dice, or ends a movement within 3. Rolls 4 dice. If she does a damage, she gets to move short or advance short, which is nice because obviously it means she can get out of range of.
Especially
of those attacks.
If they've got at most a range 3 attack, she's getting back into that not stealth bubble.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it, Quinn. I'm gonna put her in a solid B.
I'm okay with that,
and I think I'm gonna put her above Amazing Spider-Man.
Ooh.
I'm going to put her above Amazing Spider-Man. I really think she's going to find a home in Sentinels.
If we're doing a future-proofing tier list, then yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll assent to that.
Excellent. Cool. Quinn, the second of our...
Whoa.
Oh, come on. Can we have a for B, please?
I mean, you know what it's going to be.
It's biokinesis, isn't it?
No, it's B for bald.
I forgot the bald thing. Yes, of course it is. Right, how stupid of me. So Quinn, second of our gem bearers, who are 4 threat and are gonna make it up to a 5 threat. But this guy can bring one of two gems with him. So he either comes with the time gem or he comes with the reality gem. And Quinn, I'm going to do this and I'm going to see if you can guess which one's which.
But clearly S tier is time gem.
Obviously. Joking aside, though, Corvus with the reality gem is S tier. There's just no doubt about it. And I'm going to go as far to say, Quinn, that probably not now, actually, because actually, let's have a little conversation about this, Quinn. What does making the reality gem a restricted card do to Corvus? Does the cost of opportunity outweigh his potential impact and damage output on a game so much that he drops from S down to A tier, or is it still just really, really good, even with the opportunity cost now?
Oh, I think the opportunity cost makes him far less splashable.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that might actually drag him out of S into A.
It's big, isn't it? Not being allowed to...
Because also, like, out of affiliation Corvus isn't like, premier Corvus, right?
It's not as prevalent anymore, is it, either? Like, you still see it every now and then, but it's definitely not as prevalent.
Yeah, like, I mean, alongside Proxima, if we've got, like, the priority control and that sort of stuff, it can be an interesting splash. But 8 threat was a lot to pay pay anyway.
Yeah.
And now, like, you're losing out on a tactic card just by having the option of playing.
Well, you're losing a follow me, and you could argue that actually follow me would probably be the card that you would drop for it because you're getting that built in. But then, do you want that triple activation?
Yeah. Also, you can play follow me any game, whereas like there are going to be a lot of games where you just can't fit in the two of them because of crisis, threat levels and stuff. Like, I feel like I want to drag him down into that A.
I think he's at the upper echelon of A, right? Like,
I genuinely think Swan.
Or is his opportunity cost put him here?
Like, I think. Think of it this way: what would you rather have, Swan and like a patch up or a follow me, or like?
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Gem, right?
It's a very, very good point. Yeah, I think. Do you know what? And we have to remember, guys, that we're not just taking into account the character itself. It's obviously one part of it, but it's what they bring and what they cost. So what we're talking about here, if you don't know, is the reality gem has quite recently been put on the restricted card list.
Quite recently, it was like months ago.
A couple of months ago, wasn't it? No, but it's since we've done these tier lists, right?
Yeah,
it's in there, which means that like you have to give up one of your restricted slots now if you want to take Corvus with the reality. Now, if you choose to take him, Quinn, he's still going to murder things very, very well. But I like I said, I think that opportunity cost does pull him down a little bit. Let's talk about time. I mean, it's just not great on him, is it? I'd rather not. I'd rather take him as a 4 threat than use the gem on him, if I'm being brutally honest with you. And I think for that reason alone, he's D tier.
Yeah, like, I mean, just even like factoring in the whole opportunity cost of the reality gem, like, I feel like there's a greater opportunity cost to taking the time gem for its 1 threat than there is for the reality gem for its 1 threat and a tactic card.
Yeah,
basically, like,
yeah,
just no.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
And obviously, we're doing the alphabet now.
Yeah, can we have the A tier one first, please?
Okay, A is for Atom Splitter.
Nice, and D is for
Designated Driver, because Time Corvus doesn't get to join in the party.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Death Blow, but yeah, you threw a curveball in there, Quinn. I like it.
See, keep you on your toes. Keep you on your toes.
I know. Right. Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme variant, aka Stephen Vincent Strange. So this is the newer, I'm not going to use the word new, but the newer version of Doctor Strange. He's really good.
It's the one with a much cooler model.
He does have a much cooler model. You talk about, it's like, progression of ability to, to sculpt
like sculpting ability and stuff.
And, you look at like, look at old Iron Man. Look at the Hulkbuster version of Iron Man. Look at, actually, I prefer the old Cap to the new Cap. But yeah, very, very different.
I like the dynamicism of the new Cap. I don't like the stupid scale mail.
You don't like scale mail, do you? So Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, he's just... You're going to be taking him, Quinn, in every single Convocation roster you put together, right? There's no... Roster.
Most,
you're 10.
Oh, roster.
Roster.
Okay,
yeah. Your roster, right? He is in there. 100% in there. He's going to get into most squads. Not all. I will agree. So for me, he's sitting somewhere between that A and B, and I'm not quite sure if it's a lower A or a higher B. I think probably a lower A, because he's really good. Like, that Chosen of Vashante, that Deadly Daggers, where he can choose whatever it is, and it's range 5. He's got some really good tech, and that bloody stupid fucking Armour of Strange that just can make a really good roll all of a sudden.
It makes you real sad, doesn't it?
Mate. And the fact he gets power for it as well. Like, do you know what? He's here. He is here. He's very good, Quinn.
He's B+.
I'm gonna have to bump Cassandra.
Yeah,
he goes to the upper,
or tanky Cassandra Nova.
Tanky Cassandra Nova.
What's the meme? Friendship with tanky Cassandra Nova over. Tanky Strange is my new best friend.
Tanky Strange is my new best friend. Yeah. I'm okay with B. I am okay with B. It's just, I think I've not got to let outside influences, dictate my decision, but I still have PTSD from that league game a year or so ago.
You're getting flashbacks just looking at the model.
I was like, yeah, Star-Lord's rolled 7 successes, and he goes, well, I've blocked 4, and 3 of them are wild. So
get right.
Can I have an alphabet, please?
I'm gonna go with B for Bolts of Bishru, the attack he doesn't have.
Nice. Next up, Quinn. Just a minor character in the game.
It's not like it's my favourite character.
Doctor Strange, Stephen Vincent Strange. So without a gem. So important to note, without a gem. So just the 5-threat version of him. He goes really well in a lot of affiliate. Obviously, if you're playing defenders, you're taking him, right? I would still argue, Quinn, he has one of the best leaderships in the game. His leadership is amazing.
It is incredible. Yeah.
He, as a character, is very, very, very good. Very consistent is what I would say. He's not going to... he can spike and do it, but, he's not the murder ball that like an Angela or a Corvus is. But I've also seen, as we've experienced with Angela, and I've had it with Corvus, whiff, right? Very, very easily. With Stephen, he is consistent, and that's key to his game, isn't it? Is that those re-rolls that he gets to make, you're more often than not going to get what you should get based on the number of dice that you're rolling. And if you can get off a Mystic Binding here and there, then that's pretty darn good. I think he's an answer to some of the big characters that we've got in the game of late, Quinn. The fact that he can heal 3 for 3 is very good. And he's also pretty good at power generation as well. I think he's a very, very good character. He is always in your squad for defenders. Does he do enough to get himself into S tier with where you see him elsewhere?
I would feel wrong putting him in S tier. I think I don't know. He's exceptionally good, but I just think when we go back to sort of opportunity costs and things like that, there are only certain affiliations that want him. I think S tier is sort of reserved not quite for ubiquitous characters, but characters that I think get a fair consideration in most, if not all, rosters.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit harder, isn't it, when you're
right.
a 5-threat, because you're a 5-threat, so it's just always going to be harder.
I think he's easily A++. The fact that he brings in that level of control, that level of support, and to a degree that level of attrition, especially if he's being played in his leadership role, I just like Doctor Strange, man.
We
He's a
know,
good
Quinn.
guy.
We know. He is a good guy, isn't he? He is a good guy. He's a good guy. And A is for
Agamotto, the eye of whom
Agamotto.
he wields.
the eye which he wields, yes. Ebony Moore, aka Ebony Moore. Character has a bit of a resurgence of late. We're
Yeah.
definitely seeing him, or I'm at least, Quinn, definitely seeing him played more since the changes to his card. I think it brought him back up from the depths. I don't think it made him absolutely amazing in any way, shape, or form, but I think it definitely brought him up out of the depths. You know, I think he's struggling with the fact that he has one of the best murder machines at 5 threat in his affiliation that he's up against in Corvus Glaive. And that probably means you don't see him played as much in Black Order as you may do otherwise. But I've seen him played elsewhere as well.
Yep.
seen him
Convocation,
play
I
in
think, is a popular
Convocation.
place for him as well.
Yeah, he seems to be doing really well in Convocation. But you know, that six mystic energy. One of his weaknesses, isn't it, is that 2 defense on his physical, and obviously
Yeah, I mean, you're probably to
Convocation
pay
get
for
around
it,
that.
but yeah, like it can cause issues. He's also had like a big stamina boost.
Yeah,
One of the big things for him is the fact that he can throw size 4 turn 1.
he can. He's
Like
also immune to collisions as well, isn't he? If he spends
he
the
can
2
pay
power.
to get rid of stuff. Yeah. I do actually want to go back and revise something very quickly, and I don't think you're going to agree with me on it.
Oh, okay.
I want Corvus put in B.
Oh no. Just
Right. The reason I want him in B is because I feel that Corvus can be very oppressive, right? But it's only in his affiliation. I think anywhere else you would be better served with one of the other 3 that are in A right now.
I think, but the thing is that one of the thing with A tier is
Right.
if you're
I'll allow
in
that.
there
I'll
all
allow
the time, yeah. Like he's in the squad, right? He's
that.
he's choice numero uno outside Thanos if you're playing Black Order, right? So I think that alone gets him in there. So yeah, where do you want Ebony Moore?
B.
I agree. I think you can play him in Black Order if you want to do something a little bit different. I think especially when we've got these big guys now in the game who maybe trying to murder them isn't the way that you win the game. The control that Ebony Moore brings, the throws that he's got, that sort of alternative damage can sometimes just be better than what Corvus brings. So I think he's an option, but he's definitely not. He's the guy you draft, isn't he? When you need Plan B, he's not Plan A. I think that's a fair way of putting it in Black Order.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, and B Quinn is for
Black Tongue.
Black Tongue. Excellent.
Uh-huh.
Quinn. Jonathan. Johnny Blaze, aka Ghost Rider. He's a bit of an anomaly in this game, Quinn, in that you don't really play him in Defenders, do you? Because you just don't really play him in Defenders.
Not really. I mean, I think, well, let's be honest, the most common affiliation you see him in is Guardians, right?
It's Guardians. That's what I mean. It's unusual to have, for somebody to find a home outside of their own given affiliation.
I think you can see him relatively, consistently within Suns.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Ghost Rider obviously has 2 cards, Quinn. One that's pretty useless, one that's very good, Deal with the Devil and Highway to Hell. Really weirdly, he ticks all the boxes as a splash character. So you got, and that's where you see him the most. But I actually think I almost see him as a squad member of Guardians. And because of that, I see him as a B tier character. I think he's I think he's just good. Like, he's not game breaking in any way. I think his character is perfect as it is. He's got some mobility if he pays for it. He's got a tactics card that you can bring with him that increases his opportunity cost, but in the right setup can be really good. Out of activation damage, or even out of turn damage, which can be really nice. But he does cost a lot. He's a 5 threat. I think he's a solid B tier character.
I'm going to argue with you.
It better be up and not down. That's all I'm going to say.
He's A tier.
Yeah?
Right, so I think whilst, yes, he doesn't fit into like one of his main affiliations, ones that he's actually affiliated in, his ability as a splash pick, I think, is pretty unquestionable. Like, he's a very solid splash in a lot of affiliations. Like, he's seen most prevalently in Guardians because they're a wide team and they focus on killing, right?
Yeah.
But he can do so much more than that. He can be a protective asset, especially against some of the big bads in the meta right now. Cough, Malekith, cough.
Yeah,
right?
he is an answer, isn't he, to...
He's also got that mobility, which I think is vastly underrated in a lot of characters, especially ASM, who I'm kind of tempted to bump above Nova.
He also has that ability to do things turn zero, doesn't he, with power generation on certain maps. He can pick up a hammer without having to move. So that, yeah, he's got some... Okay.
He's got a lot of play to him. I think also he brings conditions into the game. He's bringing in Hex. He's immune to a bunch of conditions, which makes him better on like a number of crises. He has a lot going for him in, I think, a number of areas of the game, and I think because of that, I'd want to like shove him up into that A tier. And
Where
I
does
think
I think for me, he's potentially...
I think he's closer to A than Swan is, if I'm honest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm okay with that. Look, I have to be careful. Like, you know me, Johnny's my boy. Like,
yeah,
but I don't want to come across as being biased. So
I mean, I've already thrown my cards on the table in terms of bias. Look at We're Strangers.
Oh, absolutely. Well, no, he's not S tier, is it? He's not S tier. So, and B is for.
B is for nothing because he's not in B.
Sorry, A even. A is for
AC/DC.
AC/DC.
Because he's on the highway to hell.
You spoke about Amazing Spider-Man being bumped up ever so slightly above.
Yeah.
Nova.
I think that turn 1 mobility, the extract advantage it could potentially gain you whilst not threatening the character.
I'm okay with that.
That is of more use than I think most people give it credit for.
I am more than okay.
I think it's useful. It's just not interesting.
Yeah. Jean. Oh dear. She's almost like an exception to the rule, Jean, because if you're an X-Man or X-person and you're a female, you're not in a bad spot at the moment. And Jean really is the exception to that rule. In that she's just not very good.
Yeah.
And she's got her card that she brings. Yay! I mean,
it's a combo card.
You've got to bring You've got to bring Logan or Scott with you. But Quinn, is she D tier bad or C tier bad?
She's D tier bad. Jeez. Like, if there were like a lower D tier,
I'm torn between. Yeah,
she's better than Time Corvus.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I think she probably goes in.
I'm not happy with her, but I'm not that upset with her. I put her that low. I do have like limits.
Okay, and D, by the way, is for
Dark Phoenix. Hopefully, a better version of Jean will get one day.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Next up, Quinn. Even not next up, guy. Next up, Quinn is a guy who is not a mutant, and he will tell you he's not a mutant. But
yeah,
I suppose
he's just a man with a funny hat.
It's another sibling of Charles Xavier.
Well, distant
Unsurprisingly.
sibling, right?
Yes, yeah. So Juggernaut, aka Kane Marco, um, only affiliated to Brotherhood, Quinn. Only affiliated to Brotherhood, which I
Yeah.
think people were hoping for Crimson. I think it would
Some
have.
people were hoping for Spider Foes at one point, which I
I
find
know,
quite amusing.
I know. Look, I think AMG had to be very careful with this character because he's very good, and if you allow him
He
to
is
be
very, very.
affiliated with too many affiliations and he can benefit from the tactics cards they bring, then yeah, it's not good at all. He brings two tactics cards with him, Quinn. One I'm going to say is not great. The other one is exceptional.
Yeah.
An out of activation, out of his activation even, long throw. Size 4, is it, I want to say?
Size 4, character all terrain, throw long.
Is super good.
Especially when you do it on Mystique's turn and they can't brace or Rindop.
Yeah. So Quinn, he's making. I'm sort of going through the motions here, right? He's making it in the 10 for your Brotherhood affiliation. He's more often than not, irrespective of whether you're playing Mystique or Magneto, he's going in your squad, right? I feel like he's a first pick squad member for
As
Brotherhood
much
now.
as it annoys me, yes.
Yeah.
Because
And
I'm not the biggest fan of Juggernaut.
I actually I don't like him, by the way.
There's a 5 threat in Brotherhood that I much prefer that just gets massively overshadowed by this arsehole.
Yeah. I still play her over him.
Yeah.
Because I just don't like him, but
I just find him boring. Like,
he's still very good.
I am man that will run around, pick up objective, and then not take damage. No, boring.
He also brings a tactics card that's very good. He also works in a lot of other affiliations, doesn't he?
Yeah. You know what, Rich? I'm going to go as far as to say that he is a pillar of MCP.
An S is for sarcastic bastard.
S is for stopping something he's never going to do.
Yeah, he will never stop. And people may look at that and go, well, and it's the sum of all his parts, isn't it, Quinn? That's the thing. He's just really, really good. And as you say, you get objectives on him, and he's very, very difficult to take down. He works really well in Criminal Syndicate because of the fact that nothing stops him, so he won't be moved. And then he flips, and okay, his stats lines change, but he gets a throw when he flips as well. Because he's actually not a big damage dealer, Quinn, is he? Like, it's very rare that you're going to see people spending the power for I'm the Juggernaut.
People have a weird fear of not a fear, but a weird misconception about how scary Juggernaut is in terms of a damage sense. And it's like, oh, he's going to do an 8-dice strike. And it's like, yeah, he'll do one 8-dice strike per round. It's really not that deep. He is
attrition, but he's the defensive side of attrition. He's an attrition control character. And yeah, he's bloody good at it as well. Very, very good. Okay, Quinn. Next up is another character who can come with 2 gems, Mr. Loki Laufeyson. Laufeyson. And we've got the Mind, and we've got the Space Gem. Now, let's start with
It's interesting that you've given us no way as to discern which picture is which.
Yeah, I know, right? It's cool. I'll go back in and do something. Let's start with the Mind Gem, okay? Which I think is the more popular one for him now.
Probably, though I disagree.
Again, is it the opportunity? I think space is restricted, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
Space is restricted, which is why I think Mind is now the most popular one with him. I think we put Loki in A tier by himself.
We did. I think that the gems bring him down from that.
I agree. I think he's got...
The question is how far down, right?
I want to say with the mind. So this, I'm going to do the mind first, Quinn. I think with the mind, he's perfectly serviceable, and having that extra power on him is not a bad thing. He gets to do it once per. He can always do it because of his power generation. My problem with having a gem on him and having a gem where he has to pay for it is he has lots of other things he needs to spend power on, a la Trickster, I am a god, and not mind gemming people. But I'm okay with him mind gemming people in. I think it's a solid B. I would say that with the space gem, because of that opportunity cost, whilst I actually think it's the better of the gems, I actually think because of the opportunity cost, I would put that into a C tier. Is my own personal take on it.
It really gripes me because before the restriction, Space Loki was one of my favorite splash characters for Avengers.
Space Loki was amazing.
Oh, he was so
being able
good.
to do that for one power, right, is just
not even that. It's just how much of a beater it made him.
Yep.
Because you do that little range 2 place, and suddenly you're within range 2 of someone, and you just go, I am a god, strike, I am a god, strike. You've probably killed them and given yourself a bunch of power to trickster away and things. And I feel like it's a real shame that he has had that slight fall from grace, because I think otherwise he would have been in that A tier.
Oh, I agree. I do want to put, however, just so we keep doing this, he's definitely above Black Bolt in the C tier, I think. And I want to say that he's probably somewhere around here in the B tier.
Yeah, you know what I want to do?
Go on.
I want to put Space Loki in B.
Oh, really?
I want to put him in the bottom of B, but I want him in B.
There's the opportunity cost, the opportunity cost. You want to put Corvus in B.
So the reason that I wanted to put Corvus in B is because I feel like on his own, Corvus with the reality gem doesn't necessarily have as many tools that allow him to be as efficient as I think we generally perceive him to be. Because most of the time, when we have that mental image of Corvus, it's when it's in Black Order, and it's when Thanos is doing all the tractor beam bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Most of the affiliations don't have access to anything anywhere near that.
I suppose, yeah.
If Corvus is spending, an action doing a move...
Which he normally is, right? Out of affiliation.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing at least one. Often two, Quinn. He's often using moves to get up to him into position.
I think there are just so many factors that just detract from where Corvus is. Whereas I think Loki on his own...
I'll allow it. But he's at the bottom of the B tier.
He's at the bottom of B.
Yeah.
I think that restriction does put him there, but I do really value just how good Loki is with a gem. Yeah. Even the space gem with the restrictions.
No, I'm okay with that. And B for... You can just do one for both, Quinn, because they're both in B.
Oh.
I won't let you do two.
It's for Born a Jotun.
Blue skin I was going to go for, but there we go. We have two.
I mean, same vein.
We have two. We have two there, don't we? So that's fine. Ooh. One for each. Next up is MODOK. Oh, Quinn, I've fallen back in love with his character so much.
There you have. He's horrible, horrible man.
Do you know what? I'd forgot how good he was. And weirdly, the number of games, Quinn, that I've played now with a Malekith-led Cabal with MODOK, and I finished the game and people have gone, I focused on Malekith and Malekith wasn't the problem. MODOK dazed or KO'd 3 characters in his activation. It's like, people have forgot. It's almost as if people have forgotten how good MODOK is because
what's that stupid quote about the devil? The greatest trick the
devil ever pulled
the world he didn't exist.
Isn't it?
I feel like that's what MODOK's done.
Isn't it? In Devil's Advocate or something. There's a movie. It's off a movie, isn't it? I think.
I thought it was off of some weird magician movie.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't watch fucking boring normal people movies.
But let's bring it back down a bit. So, where's he part of? He's part of Cabal and he's part of Criminal Syndicate, isn't he? I think
You're seeing him in Cabal, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see him anywhere else. But he does bring a very nice tactics card with him, Quinn, in Aim
Yeah.
Lackeys.
It's especially good when you put it on a 7 threat.
It's really good with a massive base. I think he is in the upper echelons of B. I think I put him above Strange as a B plus, but I don't think, at least for I mean, for me he's A tier because he's in every single game that I play with Cabal, but I play a very, very particular style of Cabal that not everybody else does. And I think there are lots of other options, and I think you don't see him out of Cabal. You don't see him in Crimson. So I think he's got the damage output to be A tier.
Yeah.
But I think other people play differently.
He's exceptional, but he's exceptional in his niche at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than in the past before the changes where he was just exceptional everywhere. Now there's a time and a place for MODOK, right?
Oh, we just saw him everywhere. Like he was the big damage dealer. He was the big threat. So yeah. And B Quinn is for.
I'm gonna let you guess first.
Bow?
No.
Oh, okay. Go on then.
Big head.
Big head. He does. He does have a massive head. One of the newest, I think, actually the character who's had the panel to play most recently.
Most recently, yeah.
So Red Skull, Master of
also the character
Hydra.
who has had the most cards revealed from his box most recently, right?
And Quinn, some really good cards, especially with the errata that we heard about. I think, we actually don't know where he's going to be yet, right? So we know that he's going to be in Hydra. We don't know if he's going to be.
Him being the master of Hydra and having a Hydra leadership would put him in Hydra?
No. But we know that, but we don't know if he's going to be anywhere else, do we?
Yeah.
So
I kind of see him just being Hydra.
I would like him to just be Hydra. I'm a bit bored
I don't
of them
think
putting.
he's gonna branch over into Cabal because Cabal already has its own Red Skull.
Yeah. Well, but then Hydra
I know
has...
that Red Skull is in Hydra, but I don't know. It just makes less sense in my mind for this one to end up in there.
So he brings some amazing tactics cards with him, Quinn. He's got grunts, and he's got grunts who can do some work as well, right? Like they can be really good. Yeah. He's obviously I can't see him being played outside of Hydra, right? I think that's just a fair statement to make. He's also up against Strucker. I still think Red Skull, Master of Hydra, is going to be second choice leader. Even though he's good, I think Strucker's going to be first choice leader.
So I think for me in particular, that is going to be true. I don't know how true it's going to be for everyone else. I think I think you to an extent as well. I think we've both fallen in love with Strucker's leadership.
Oh, his leadership's just amazing.
It just scratches that itch in my brain, right?
Yeah.
And I think it does the same for you. Whereas world domination is really bland as a leadership. But equally, it is solid. An extra power for all of your characters is pretty damn good. Because it is going to be practically every character in your squad.
Yeah, and also, you're then in that category, aren't you, of turn one stuff, people on large bases.
Turn one shenanigans, you get Hulk to stand in range to pick up a hammer. You can pick up the hammer, move, leap, then punch.
Yep.
That sounds pretty tasty. I mean, also, I don't think we can sort of play down, Schmidt's own damage output. Counting blanks on that blitz strike puts him into that Corvus territory almost.
Really good. Six dice, Quinn, on his builder with blanks potentially. More often than not, that 2 power I think you spend is you're going to get that back, right? You're going to get that back.
Yeah, I mean, also, you're starting with probably 1, unless you're poisoned, right? You're then doing an all-consuming obsession. You're taking 1 damage. You're doing the empowered gauntlets. You're doing the blitz strike, gaining a power. You're then on 2 again. You do it again, and you
Yep.
end up like 1 power net. Like it's very solid. Also, he isn't like he's a mobile turret, if that makes sense.
Yep. Especially if you buy his tank.
But like, you know, he chucks out those attacks, and then if he's getting those triggers, he's also moving himself and others around the board
Yeah.
while still continuing to get that damage output, and I think that's like quite a strong consideration as well.
No, it really is. It really is. So the question is, Quinn, I think he's sitting firmly in that
B to
very
A
top
category,
end
right?
of B,
Yeah.
lower end of A. And I'm leaning towards putting him just here behind Murdoch. In that B plus.
I
And the only thing, just before I finish, before you start, is Strucker puts him in B.
probably. I don't think Strucker puts him in B. I think the probably lack of splash opportunity is what puts him in B for me personally.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see this Red Skull played outside of Pyro.
No, absolutely not.
And I think that's what puts him in that B tier.
No, I mean
Like,
he's got
it's
grunts.
also one
He's
of the
got
reasons
grunts, and maybe you do see him, but yeah.
But like, I mean, that's also kind of one of the reasons I want to drag Corvus down into the depths of B, because you only play him in Black Order now. I'm just saying.
But
I'm just saying.
he's a first choice Black Order, isn't he? That's the thing, which does get you into A. And sorry, B Quinn for Red Skull is for.
Blitz strike.
There we go. Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff. I really like her, Quinn.
Are we on to Witch?
No, we're not. We're not onto
I was
Witch.
going to
I'll tell you
say,
what it is, Quinn.
because you're looking at Cerebro, aren't you?
She's
you
next
fuck?
on Cerebro, but we do have some bonus entries, Quinn. We do have some bonus entries because, a 5-threat character, Quinn, doesn't just have to be a 5-threat character, does it?
No.
It could be a little deadly duo, maybe, of characters. So what we've done is I've picked out 2, so you'll see that there's another pairing here as well. Rocket and Groot. Obviously, combined, they are synonymous together. I actually don't think you need to play them together as much as what other people do. But they are synonymous together. They bring some very, very good tactics cards between them. We Are Groot is pretty darn amazing, and Deadly Duo is pretty darn amazing. And the nice thing is, Quinn, is that they're pretty amazing in the same setups as well. So down the middle is exceptional for them because it means that Rocket's always going to have those 3 people in range, and then it means that you're just going to get more healing off with that We Are Groot. But what we're talking about there is 2 character slots and 2 tactics card slots, so a high opportunity cost. What I want to do with these, Quinn, is take into account the fact that yes, they are affiliated to Guardians, but I think we almost have to put that to the side a little bit and sort of treat them as though they were outside of Guardians for this one, because solid B threat is the bare minimum because they're in that Guardians roster.
Threat?
Sorry, solid B tier even. But what I want to focus more on these ones is their splashability, how good they are as like outside of affiliation. So I'll let you start. What's your thoughts on these guys for starters?
I think they're really good. I mean, we've covered them individually before on these tier lists.
Yes.
They, together, they have an exceptional card in the form of Deadly Duo. And also, Groot in and of himself has, quite a valuable resource in terms of, non-restricted healing, right?
Yep.
I think together, because they have that sort of dependency on each other when you play them together, keeping Groot within 2 of Rocket to keep them safe, I think they are less valuable than, they are more valuable in terms of damage output and things like that than, any other 2-threat and 3-threat combination. However, they, I feel, are less valuable than any other combination, like most other 3 and 2 combinations in terms of like board presence.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Like effectively, they have the same board presence as a 5 threat.
Yeah.
But like on average, I mean, sure they can both pick up an objective and stuff like that, but like typically you're not wanting to do that with like at least group because you want to do that deadly duo turn 2, and there's like a bunch of other factors that contribute to it. I think they are just solidly in that B tier.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, and I think they're probably between ASM and Loki.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for them to be. I think they are a viable option for somebody who wants to mix it up a little bit, and it does let you go very wide.
Yeah, I mean, we do also have to factor in that it is 2 roster slots as well.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's 2 roster slots. I'm less concerned about the tactics card slot, Quinn, because I actually think a lot of people now are struggling with what tactics cards to take. They get to sort of 6 or 7, maybe 8, depending on their affiliation of the characters, and you're like, I'll slap in, I don't know, whatever it is, right? And you just never use them because you just need some generic cards as a just in case. So I think the tactics cards is less of a thing. But yeah, I really like them. I think they are solid, absolutely solid as a 5 threat option for people. And B is for
best friends. Bloody raccoon.
Bloody raccoon. Right, Ronan with a power gem. I see no reason, maybe other than Inhumans. Yeah, and Inhumans have the dog.
I think you know what? I'm going to put him above Corvus time.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that's fair. I think that is
there
fair.
are plays that you can make, but like I think I covered this in the last tier list video. I think it was last tier list video, or it might have been like one of the.
No, it was because we had Star-Lord with a gem. So
just gem characters need to be able to operate at both threat levels that they have with their gems.
Yeah,
and like Ronan just can't. He's too squishy.
It needs to turn something on for them, doesn't it? Because obviously it's never going to increase their defenses. And I think this is the problem, isn't it? Is that it doesn't really do anything for him. Black Swan, it gives her a charge. There are other characters in this game where if you could give them a gem turn 1 and they have a charge, it's amazing.
Like, maybe if Ronan's judgment, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe if he had a thing where when someone attacked him, he got to put the judgment on them, but he also got to push them away short, right?
Yeah.
It maybe for an extra power or whatever. Then
if you had something like that,
but something sort of that Dormammu style, go away, I don't want to deal with you type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
No, not a fan. Not a fan. Although I do like Ronan. We spoke about Ronan. Solid character, but yeah, not a fan. Right, now on to Scarlet Witch, Quinn. Miss Wanda Maximoff. So she's in A4, she's in Avengers, she's in Brotherhood. I always forget she's in Defenders as well. That one always passes me by. Look, she is...
You know what? I'm really tempted to just say it, Rich.
Go on.
S-tier.
What?
Yeah. I'm going to say it, S-tier. Fuck what everyone else thinks, S-tier.
Do you know what? She has got 2 amazing tactics cards. 1 amazing tactics card, 1 good tactics card.
Yeah, not only does she have that, she is, exceptionally high damage output because of Chosen of Chthon. She's also a lot tankier than you think because of Chosen of Chthon. She also takes throws better than you think because of Chosen of Chthon. She puts out conditions like they're candy.
Yeah. And
she's one of the few characters in the game that has access to Root and Judgment. She gives out Hex. She does so many incredible things. She's got a size 4 throw, and she's brilliant in Strucker Hydra. S tier.
She is very good in Strucker Hydra. This is gonna... I think that might be the one that people...
Oh, I'm here to rustle some jimmies, mate.
She is very... She's got a lot, hasn't she? She's got a lot. Yeah. She's bloody good. She's bloody good. And S is for...
Synthesoid Avenger, her husband.
There we go. Okay, Quinn. On to the other new character that we've got. Only recently, or quite recently, we've managed to play a couple of games with these guys, haven't we? But Sentinel Prime Mark IV, leader of the Sentinels. He brings some cool stuff. I've played a game where somebody put him in X-Men, and I murdered him. I also murdered everybody else around him as well because it was with Malekith. I think that's probably not a fair judgment of him.
You say that. I do also have information that the person playing that game was playing a threat up by accident.
They were, yes, they were. But I mean, look, he's a bit vanilla Quinn, isn't he? Right? We've already spoken about the Sentinels.
They're just so boring, man.
But for me, he's going to be just a solid B tier. I don't think you're going to see him outside of affiliation that much. So yeah, I think he's a solid B tier.
B for boring.
No words, no. And he probably, and because he's a leader, I mean, he's probably about here.
No.
Oh, he's not lower down than these guys.
He's before Rocket and Groot.
You think there?
Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it, when you're judging like a solitary leader versus somebody who's where there's other leaders. But I'm okay with that. I think he's good enough as a leader, and as a character that. He doesn't need anything happening to his card, does he? He doesn't need any changes.
Oh, he doesn't need any improvements.
Yeah.
He just needs to be less dull.
And also some bloody artwork. I mean, there we go. Right, Quinn. Our last true 5-threat. Look. I think you roll a dice before you select Thor, or at least in your head, or at least Thor rolls a dice, and you end up.
Is this going to be like the whole Targaryen speech?
No, you end up with either Thor or fat Thor. And...
this feels very much in line with every time a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin to see whether they're mad or great.
And I just think. The problem he's got is that he's very inconsistent. I think Asgard are in a slightly better position than what they were before.
That's true.
I like Thor in Avengers, but again, he's getting blocked a lot. I think he's probably C tier, Quinn. I think he needs more. He absolutely needs more, but... He's not D tier, right? He's nowhere near.
He's not D tier. No.
I'm also going to put him above Black Bolt. Yeah. I was just going to say I'm going to put him above Black Bolt. He's got lots of good things. They just either cost too much power, or they are just a little bit too restrictive, or they dish out shock for a power.
There are so many things, and because of that, C is for. Could be so much better. Yes. And then rounding it out, Quinn, our second pairing, Honey Badger and X-23, or X-23 and Honey Badger, as I've wrote on here. I don't like them together. I don't either. Where did we rank them individually, out of interest?
I think X-23 was S tier, I think. Honey Badger was like B.
I think I tried to force her into a C. And
I think together they're a C.
I think together they're a D.
Oh, no. No, they've still got some stuff. They've still got some good stuff.
My question to you is, why are you wasting 2-threat on Honey Badger when you could just have Laura?
Yeah, which is why I've put them in C.
I feel like the disparity between where you put them in C and where Laura is in the S tier shoves them even further down.
No, because I still think they've got some good synergy. That extra movement on Laura can be good.
It can be, but it's just not worth the two threat. Like, it's a two threat that doesn't even contribute to Crisis either.
No, but well, she can't. Well,
I
you're not taking Jonathan, but yeah.
No, you're not taking Jonathan, because if you're taking Jonathan, they're going below D. You're wasting a tactic card.
I think they're okay. I think they're solid in C.
I think they're shit.
And well, sometimes I get to say things, and I have the mouse, so there we go. And you're not even going to do one, are you? Because we've argued. So C is for claw. Or claws. There we go.
Looks like claws.
Cool. There we go, Quinn. Interesting. Like, so there's some characters, Quinn, on this roster or on this list. Sorry, that I think we'd forgot about a few things, and when we spoke them through, cards being restricted, for example. Look at the difference that makes. The fact that we're arguing between A and B for Corvus, who 6 months ago was an outright S in any situation. So it's really interesting, isn't it, how a little change here and there can have such a major effect on where a character sits in the pecking order.
Imagine what a tiny change would do for Thor.
Exactly, right? I mean, God, just, yeah. Anyway. Let us know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I did not come into this, Quinn, thinking that Juggernaut and Scarlet Witch were going to be our only two S tiers.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. I have no issue with it.
I'm especially okay with Witch being up there.
Yeah, she is very good. I think you are right. I think she may have found herself a little home in Hydra. Because I think if you're taking Strucker and you want that big fight, and you're not trying to play the High Council, because why would you? But you want that, that big, I suppose, glass cannon-esque type character, but high damage output, synergizes really well with the leadership. She's really good, really good. So yeah, no, I do like that a lot. But let us know down in the comment section below, which of your favorite characters did we murder? As I mentioned, the closer to their letter they are, so as in the further over to the left they are, that's how we're ranking them within their given tier. So we're saying that within the B tiers, MODOK is the best, for example, and in D tier, Corvus with the time is the worst. But yeah, Quinn,
what? I don't have any time for Corvus with time.
I don't have any time for it either. He's not very good. He wasn't very good when you got to make an extra action with it, Quinn, which you'd think would be really good for
power.
Yeah, well, you think it'd be really good for Corvus, but yeah, it's just not very good. But there we go, guys. Let us know what you think down in the comment section below. We've got one more of these to do. We will be doing 6 threats, which there's not many of those, so that won't be a particularly long video, but we'll probably go into a little bit more depth with some of them. But yeah, Quinn, were you expecting them to be where they are? Is there any outliers for you where you went, oh, I didn't think I'd land with that one?
I'm surprised how harsh I've been with Corvus, but equally, I feel like it makes sense.
I think it does. It's because again, it's that opportunity cost, isn't it?
It's just like he's been reframed in my mind now. Interestingly.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Cool. Excellent, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. It really, really does help. If you want to support us even further, we have our Patreon up and running, where from as little as £1 a month you can support us. We also have our merch store, and we do have a couple of new items on there. We've got the Bestest Boy beanie, and we also have the Strongest Avenger sort of trucker cap on there as well. So go check them out. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, what the hell are you doing? The best place to be, Quinn, isn't it?
Say yes. Better places, but
Say
yeah, sure.
Yes.
I mean, yes, I love it there so much. There we go. Yeah, I am not being held at gunpoint. It's your most favourite place, yes. But yeah, go check out the Discord. And as always, guys, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now. See you.